Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Degrassism, the final of this block for January the 1st, 2024, and maybe the last major video of the old recording system with me being here and all that. So yeah, because I got a big screen TV over there that will be doing some stuff off of it, and with the Sony and my new laptop. So I'll be probably doing stuff from a laptop, not from a desktop computer that I've been doing for years upon years upon years upon years. But anyway, so this is, well, I would say this is a poll, but I'm not going to really share it like a poll video. So everyone knows in season 4 about how Raditch kind of messed everything up by allowing Rick to come back to the school the year after he put Terry in that coma and all that. And then, of course, the stupid deleted scene that was deleted. The deleted scene that had Marco and Alex try to talk some sense into Raditch, but Raditch definitely doesn't budge, saying that Terry's is in private school. I can't talk about her affairs, which is, like, understandable. I mean, I get it. But the fact of the matter is he's not really talking to the students and all that for the stuff. And then he says that, to the best of my knowledge, he doesn't have a criminal record. And anyone without a criminal record can study at my school, like it or not. Like, I mean, it's understandable what Raditch is trying to say, but Alex and Marco are trying to tell him these things, and he's not listening to them. So Raditch basically is just hiding behind a wall or something. Of course, he shides Emma, saying that, stay out of this mess. This is not one of your stupid crusades. Are you kidding me? It is a stupid crusade. It's a giant crusade. And all that. It's just, like, huge. But, I can understand Raditch's atone and all that. And then he has to deal with the students beating up Rick. Well, not at the school, because Rick is protected at the school. But they just basically intimidate him. And all that. And, of course, they beat him up outside the dot, which Emma stops, saying that it's not part of the Orange Ribbon campaign. Emma cared about the Orange Ribbon stuff, but didn't like it that they took the Orange Ribbon campaign and made it into something else. Like, I get Emma and all that, and I'm not, saying Emma's a bad person, but, she at least atoned for it, or attempted to. And then you got yourself the fact that Raditch doesn't really make much of an appearance till Time Stands Still Part 1, when Rick goes to him and wants Jimmy off the Quiz Bowl team, who is replacing Heather, because he doesn't like him and makes no qualms about it. Raditch takes that at face value and basically tells Rick that you have to do better to make friends. I can't force you to make friends. It takes two to tangle. Like, I can understand with Raditch and all that. Someone give me a text message. Sorry about that. The simple fact is that, well, it's just huge about Raditch. But, you gotta do what you gotta do. And, in a way, I don't hate on Raditch for that situation. I mean, a lot of people do, saying that he shooed Rick away. But Rick was not straightforward. If Rick had mentioned he was being bullied, Raditch could have done one of two things. One, he could have basically told Rick that I'll help you in any shape or form. Or two is, I don't have proof. Give me proof that you've been bullied and all that, and then I'll do something about it. I wish he did that, because then at least he's caring about Rick enough. But it doesn't seem like he is. Regardless of that, I mean, Raditch has a point about Rick and all that. But then, of course, everyone points fingers at Raditch, not protecting Rick from the bullying and all that. And in another deleted scene, which he catches Spinner clucking at Rick when he comes back to the school with his painted feathers on. He wants Spinner to meet him for 3:30. He might get to the bottom of this situation. And then Snake says, what are you going to do about Rick? And Raditch Well, you're sending him home? How's that going to help? He can't do any more harm if he's here, if he's not here. And then Snake says, well, what's your plan afterwards? And says, this is not daycare, and making friends is not part of the curriculum. Which means that Raditch misses the point, has missed the point again. And basically Snake scoffs at him. And then when Snake and Raditch have that tiff in the media room, people don't realize that was not the first tiff. It was the second one. But anyway, Raditch says that I have 700 students. How was I supposed to know someone was going to overreact to some spilled paint? Well, Raditch is right about that. And Snake basically said that, he came to you twice. Why didn't you do anything about it? And then gets on Raditch's bad side. But of course, Raditch doesn't really budge and all that. So anyhow, that's what it comes up to being. And all that. The truth of the matter is that Raditch did wrong and all that. We all know that. And Raditch tried to force JT and Liberty to cancel Dracula for Sunny Musical because, Degrassi's in the media for all the wrong reasons and he's trying to fix the school's image and all that. Like, I don't hate him for that. Like, he's doing what he's doing. But the fact of the matter with Raditch is that he's gone bonkers. Like, I know he's trying to find solutions and he's trying to figure out what to do next. But the fact of the matter is he's just going about things all wrong. Everyone knows it and wants to, question Raditch if he's doing the right thing all the time, which he isn't. But when you look at it, it just raises a point. So anyway, let's look at the poll. And I said, well, most likely culprit to oust Raditch in season 4. All the people in the poll had good reason for him to be ousted for his role in the Rick Murray situation. Obviously, I didn't say himself in the poll options because he would never resign and wanted to play out the string. Have at it. So 58 people voted. And from 5 to 1, this is how they voted. And this is why I think these people had the right way to knock him out. There was actually a tie for 4th with 1 vote out of the 5 options. So anyway, at number 5 is the staff. Probably not happy with their leader not doing well in the scope of things. That's what I said. I mean, the staff members are to blame in a sense that they didn't do enough to protect Rick and all that. Like, a few staff members saw Rick being harassed. Not like pushed, but like harassed in such a way. And did they do anything about it? Not really. Quan did send Spinner to the principal's office once, but that was only one time. And, I think that in a way, they were upset at how Raditch handled the Rick situation and wanted to get rid of all of Degrassi's bad stuff of a cheery musical, but it didn't work out. Speaking of the musical, that's number 4, JT and Liberty. They weren't happy with Raditch trying to squash Dracula. So anyway, Voices Carry, the subplot was that they put on a good presentation for Raditch and some teachers, but Raditch tells JT and Liberty that, do you think this is a good idea, putting on Dracula in the wake of the whole shooting situation? And they sarcastically say, what, you want a musical? A musical about how good Degrassi is. Get on it. So he practically decides, you know what? It's a good idea. A play about how good Degrassi is and all that. And, he gets Liberty and JT to write it. They're not too pleased with everything. And they decide to do a song bad-mouthing Raditch using radishes. The name is similar. They tested out on the drama club, and then the drama club says it's not worth being expelled for it. That's what Alex said. She is the one who also took part in the Rick's situation. So anyway, they walk out on Liberty and JT. JT sings a song to Raditch, but it's a corny song, which Raditch likes. But Liberty sings the song right at Raditch's face, and Raditch forces them both into detention. And Liberty says, I don't know how you got in with me. But I think that Raditch figured that JT was a part of this. Like they were working together to oust him or something. And I think that was the last straw for Raditch. And, you know, adding on to a lot of things by the school board. I think that, you know, yeah, it was the last straw. Number 3 on the list with 7 votes was the student body. Raditch wasn't protecting them from Rick. I mean, it's simple to say. It's safe to say that the student body was not happy with Raditch not being around them and not listening to their pleas to do something about Rick. I mean, they were upset that Rick came back to the school, and it seemed that Rick had no restrictions, although Rick says he has to talk to Miss Sauvé and all that. But we don't see a session with him. We don't see any indication that he's going to see Sauvé or is trying to get better. That's the problem. But I think the student body had to have something to do with this situation. I mean, Raditch was supposed to be there to protect them. And we're hoping that Raditch would stop Rick from attending Degrassi, but didn't. Of course, Raditch did one of the most unbelievable things and not do like an assembly or even something over the video system explaining why Rick is back at the school. I mean, you know, if the students take advantage of Rick and hurt him, then at least Raditch tried, and Raditch could easily be in a position, a favorable position. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, the students were upset that Rick was back at the school. And do you blame them? So I think they wanted to hurt Rick through mob mentality and practically telling Raditch that if you won't do something about this, we will. And, you know, they're not too pleased with it. So that's how you do it. And I don't know how the reactions were, you know, like post Rick and all that, about Raditch and all that. It wasn't really seen if they were upset with Raditch for stuff, but, you know, that could have happened. Number 2 with 16 votes was Snake. Not happy with Raditch, with not taking accountability. Snake had good reason to blow steam at Raditch. I mean, after all, Raditch is the one who was supposed to protect the students by not allowing Rick back at the school. But Raditch, in a sense, you know, told Marco and Alex that, you know, the school board said it was okay and all that. And I mean, everyone has a fair right to have an education. Okay, fair point, but it just doesn't work. Snake Snake didn't really witness, but Snake saw Toby with the busted lip after Spitter and Jay wanted answers and wanted Toby to rat out his friend. And Toby said, like, I'm going to help you out. And then, you know, Toby gets a busted lip. And all that. And that's just not fair to him. But, like, you know, and then he walked out of the practice when Toby came by. I know, you're going to probably hear my heater going off in the background. Whatever. Well, regardless of that, Snake wasn't happy with Raditch not taking accountability. I mean, Snake saw that. And maybe we were thinking Snake would go see Raditch, but, we don't know if Snake talked to Raditch after Toby got busted up and all that. I think not, because then Raditch would have had to do something. And Snake and Raditch were kind of allies in a sense. And then in the deleted scene, Snake basically tells Raditch what his plan is for Rick, and like sending Rick home. Is that a good idea? And Raditch goes, well, he can't do any more harm and all that. But Snake presses on, and he's not happy when Raditch tries to snap back at him, and he scoffs. And then in the meeting room is that tiff when Snake is told to look for warning signs with emails. I don't know if he wants to or he was just being sarcastic, but he basically said, where's the foresight and all of that? Foresight's coming out now. And Raditch says, I have 700 students. How was I supposed to know one was hurt with spilled paint? And then Snake gets on Raditch's case. The low-key thought of this is that, I think Raditch just basically didn't want to take responsibility and all that. But yeah, like Raditch not taking accountability, like I think in public, like publicly, was kind of sucky and all that. And Snake took accountability. He said when people were gathered at the I-6 home, he said that we just didn't see the warning signs. We didn't help Rick out. And why did we let this tragedy happen before the warning signs came in? Like, why did we have to wait for the tragedy to find out about warning signs? So Snake took accountability, which is great. But Raditch seemed to not take accountability. Maybe privately he did, but, he didn't want to say it publicly. Fair enough. I mean, he doesn't want to show weakness. But I think that Snake may have been talked to by the school board, and because he was kind of Raditch's last ally. And then once Snake, maybe took accountability and then just basically ruined Raditch's thing, that, that was the last straw, and the school board wanted to destroy it. But of course, the school board is number one with 33 votes. Wasn't happy about Raditch ignoring Rick. The school board, in a sense, has some blame to do to this. Not a whole lot, mind you, because the students should be blamed more than the school board. But the school board practically didn't do their job, in a sense. The school board could have just easily told Raditch not to let Rick back at Degrassi because of all the problems that he's caused the students. And it would have been simple. And we would have been happy to see Rick, like the school board saying all that. But then, of course, the question remains is, do you allow Rick at any school in the region? Or you practically just expel him? Or force him into therapy and all that? Yeah, I mean, the school board, the decisions come down to them. They're the buck stops here type of mentality and all that. Well, a couple of people have commented on my thing. Carissa Avocado said he was ousted by the school board. His transfer, quote unquote, definitely was not voluntary. I like to imagine he got transferred to Lakehurst and was bitter about it. But I don't think so, because Shep was presented as the former principal at Lakehurst once he got the Degrassi job. So practically, I think he was principal. But Raditch may have been principal beforehand. But then again, I don't think so. I think the school board would have demoted Raditch from principal and had to force him to move up the rungs, move up the ladder. Independent Bat even said the school board, because he is to blame, but also a good scapegoat. Well, what I mean by that, in a way, is that, maybe the school board had issue with it and should have easily said, well, Rick does not belong at Degrassi. Tell Raditch that, and Raditch would have had no choice but to tell Rick, sorry, I can't let you back into school, and then this would never have happened. But no, I think the school board didn't really have that much power, if you will. I mean, are you going to let Rick go to another school in the region? Probably. But the fact is that the school board kind of let Raditch alone. And then, when the whole Rick situation happened, a lot of people probably pointing fingers at the school board saying that they should never have allowed Rick back at the school and all of that because of all his problems and all that. I mean, they also would have said that about Raditch, but the school board just, reassigned him. Now, the school board could have easily fired him right off the bat. Maybe they did fire Raditch and he didn't want to say it. He said that I'm being reassigned means a firing, but I think a reassignment means to a different school and in a different position. Maybe as an English teacher, maybe as a vice principal. I don't know. I mean, Raditch did work at the school board for many years, and I guess that his seniority got him some leeway and all that. But in my mind, I would like to imagine that Raditch did not take the reassignment well and just basically decided to leave the area and never turn back and don't look back, as he would probably have been eager to have a fresh start somewhere else. But yeah, the school board knew they had to get rid of Raditch and knew that the students were not happy about Raditch around, and it was a matter of time before they investigated and said that Raditch should have helped Rick out. Raditch could have I think Raditch easily said that, Rick didn't say anything to me and all that. And, fair is fair. But the fact is that, Rick did a lot of wrong in his mind. And so did Raditch. But the school board makes the final decision, and they decided to cut ties with Raditch in a sense, like reassign him. Not fire him, because maybe they were upset that maybe Raditch would have said, if Raditch got fired, maybe he would have said that, the school board basically didn't do a thing about it, and he could have pinned things on the school board. And that would have been huge. But the fact of the matter is that, the school board was basically the buck stops here, and Raditch got turfed by the school board. That's all I gotta say. And that's all. Maybe this might be the last Degrassi video with my face. Who knows? Someone cares, I know, but, that's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.